If you were bitten by a dog in Massachusetts, one of the first questions you may have is whether you can recover compensation without proving the dog was dangerous beforehand. In many cases, the answer is yes, because Massachusetts has a strict liability law that often lets victims pursue the owner or keeper without proving prior knowledge of aggression. That legal rule gives many victims a strong starting point, but it does not mean every claim will be straightforward or uncontested. First, a quick answer. Yes, you can often sue for a dog bite injury in Massachusetts without proving the dog had bitten someone before. Now, let us explain how Massachusetts dog bite liability works in plain English. Under state law, an owner or keeper can be held liable for injuries their dog causes, even if the dog had no prior history of biting. That rule is often called strict liability, and it shifts the focus to the harm and who was responsible for the animal at the time. But not every case is purely about the dog itself, because factual and legal disputes can still arise about responsibility and coverage. If you are bitten, the most important immediate steps are to get medical care and document the injury right away. Photograph your injuries as early and as often as possible from multiple angles and keep those images safe. Identify and write down the dog owner or keeper information and collect contact details for any witnesses at the scene. Report the incident to local animal control or the police when appropriate, so there is an official record of what happened. Preserve torn clothing, medical records, receipts, and any items involved in the incident, because physical evidence can matter later. Avoid minimizing your symptoms to others or giving informal statements about the injury without first consulting a lawyer when advised. Dog bite injuries are not limited to puncture wounds. They can include scarring, infection, nerve damage, and long-term treatment needs. Compensation in a Massachusetts dog bite claim may cover medical expenses, future treatment, lost income, pain and suffering, and scarring. The true value of a claim depends on severity, permanence of harm, required treatment, and how well you document those losses. Even with strict liability, these claims can become complicated due to disputes over who is the legal owner or keeper of the dog. Insurance issues often complicate cases because homeowners or renters' policies may have exclusions or limits that affect recovery. Other common disputes include whether the victim was lawfully on the property, allegations of trespass or provocation, and landlord questions. Insurance companies and defense attorneys will often look for factual gaps to narrow liability or reduce the value of a claim. Good documentation can materially affect the outcome of a case, so keep early photos, medical records, notes about pain, and records of missed work. Witness statements, incident reports, and preserved physical items are valuable because they support the timeline and credibility of your claim. In summary, Massachusetts law gives many dog bite victims a strong starting point, but the strength of any claim depends on what happened, who is responsible, and how well losses are documented. If you or a loved one was injured by a dog, consider prioritizing medical care, documenting the injury, and seeking legal advice to protect your rights. Getting early help and preserving evidence can make a meaningful difference in recovering compensation and moving forward after an attack.